Welcome, Tobias.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. You're one of the longest standing partners of ours. You're also driving massive expansions throughout the regions. Obviously, you collected a lot of experience in those territories. How do you see European companies adopting OT solutions compared to other territories?
I think, first of all, Europe is so different depending on where in Europe you are. And
That's
I think
true.
that as we expanded out in Europe, what I've seen is that it's so different. And the Nordics are usually the first to adopt things. And of course, we as NOVOTEK, what we're looking at, and that is our strategy. We are trying to find countries where there is a lot of headquarters, and that's where we want to drive our growth. And I do think that OT as such is something that is always the last to get the investments. And it doesn't really matter. Everything else inside of the companies always gets money first. So in general, we are all lagging behind. It doesn't matter where on the earth. So OT is always last.
So we are in a regulated, driven environment in Europe.
Yeah.
What role do you believe does OT play in reaching sustainability, energy efficiency goals for manufacturing companies?
I think it's really, really important, of course, because it's a lot of the energy consumption in the companies are in manufacturing. On the other hand, nobody wants to touch. So that also means that even so, the adaptation of these new technologies is going so slow because you don't want to touch what works, and that is just the fact. So.
Never touch a running system.
Exactly.
Exactly to that. So your primary focus in the past has been the Nordics before expansions.
Yes.
So you're obviously super close to Nordic clients as well. Given their business behavior, do you see them, and this is really operational now, preferring to run pilots of solutions first for validation purposes?
Absolutely. It's crucial for them to get, since consensus is one of the things of the Nordics, and a pilot is where you have to get the teams together to actually accept and understand and adopt the technology. So I think that's absolutely true.
Do you see any way out of that?
No, because in Nordics you just have to convince the team to say yes, and that means you need to run the project, and that takes time and usually involves with a POC of some kind.
So in your regions, which type of clients do you see the most progressive one in adopting OT?
I would say automotive.
Automotive?
Yeah, because they are just under such scrutiny. They're always hunting costs. They have to adapt. It's a global market. It's really, really globalized, as I would say that.
So speaking of adoption, how does NOVOTEK adapt to meet your customers' requirement given your expansion strategy?
I think we do two things. First of all, we are engineering people at heart, which means that knowing technology, new technology, and adopting new technologies is one of our key things. And that is always number one, to know technology and be able to translate to the customers what that can give them, bring what values that can give. On the other hand, the other thing, but it also is really important for us going forward, is to understanding and recruiting people that can handle corporate, because we come from a plant type of setting. That's where we come from in the beginning. But as we transform and change the way we do business and the way we're going to want to do bigger businesses and bigger deals, we need to have much more people understanding corporate and enterprise, which is something that we didn't have that much before.
So that's the focus.
Yeah.
Understood. So back to your core territory, the Nordics. Do Nordic companies see OT more as a competitiveness enabler, or is it more primarily a sustainability tool?
Competitiveness, absolutely. But sustainability is something that it's primarily a greenwashing thing, which is really about retaining talent. That's why you talk about sustainability. But in the end, it's about competitiveness. Absolutely.
So you mentioned, in particular, the Nordics are an early adopter. They're always up for the latest technology. How do you as a company manage customers with legacy environments in that case?
Since manufacturing is a huge part of that is always legacy, and it will always be. And I think that it's not so much. It's just a matter of accepting the fact that you're always going to have old stuff, old parts of the factory. Even if you extend it, it's still going to have the old parts of the factory there. So not much to do with it.
So supporting that in terms of product is key?
Absolutely. It's essential.
Understood. So you're a very innovative person when it comes down to your portfolio. What do you see in terms of OT that excites you the most moving forward, looking at the next 3 to 5 years?
I really believe that AI will play a role, much bigger role than it does today, and especially in manufacturing, because there is a lot of these things which we never really been able to do. Like predictive maintenance is something we talked about, but we never really implemented. So I think that a lot of those things can happen once you got the AI models to work for us in manufacturing. Definitely, that's what I see.
So that's your go-to moving forward. All right. So we're coming towards the end, but there are 3 things that I really would like to know. And this is how, do you see Octoplant helping the Nordic clients to address compliance?
Absolutely. And I think it's going to just increase going forward. Definitely.
So also a very, very regulated environment.
Yes, I mean, it's going. I think that regulations and compliance, when it comes to all major companies in Europe, will be on top focus. So cybersecurity is a top focus, and these 2 and other regulations in Europe will just increase over the coming years.
So if there are any, what challenges do you see in bringing AMTT's product to such an innovative environment?
I think that the most important thing to be able to get the growth where we want it to be is actually, it's about getting known. I think that AMTT and Octoplant, good names, we need to be much more out there, marketing it in different arenas, which we are not used to do, because that is the big thing. We need to get on the top of mind about CIOs and other C-level people. They need to know that we exist, because otherwise it's very hard to sell to them.
So it is solution awareness?
Definitely solution awareness, company awareness in the sense that they should know AMTT is what it is and what it does.
So where do you see the Nordics leading global OT trends, let's say by 2030, 5 years down the road?
But I believe that it's pretty much, it's just going to continue, because in the end, we are, as Nordics, its innovation is always top of mind. That's always where we want to be, and I think we're going to continue to be there. So no change, actually. It's just a trend that's always been there for us.
So you're leading a group of companies. It's not a single company. True. And now there's a personal question. Which Nordic leadership values guide your decisions in a day-to-day business?
My favorite management author is Simon Sinek, and I think that his book Leaders Eat Last is very telling and a very great example on how a leader should work, and that is very, let's say, it's pretty much exactly the way we want to lead the Nordics, because it's all about getting the team to be effective and secure that they can work and innovate, rather than the leader doing anything or making decisions. They should come up with the decisions, and you can just accept that and say, okay, that's a good one, let's go.
Thank you very much.